You can get your Godzilla figures at Big Bad Toy Store at the link in the description down below. Kaiju, Dragon Ball, Pokemon, and more. It's Steven's Toy Reviews. Hello collectors, it's Steven here, and welcome to another edition of
Figure Fight,
where we throw two or more figures together looking to claim the same spot on your shelf. Tonight's fight is to hype up the celebration of the Criterion release of the Showa-era films, the hype for the King Kong rematch, and to celebrate Godzilla's birthday. In this corner, we have the US-based company NECA with Godzilla 1962. And over here, the king of Godzilla figures dating back from before the 90s, Bandai, the Tamashii Nations division, with the SH MonsterArts Godzilla 1962. These two figures have stirred up quite the discussion in different groups and forums and everywhere in between, and with plenty of time to digest these releases now, let's put them toe to toe. As a reminder, this is a Tale of the Tape series, and there is a fan poll and link in the description down below. Go ahead and get your snacks because it's time to start the
Figure Fight. Round 1.
Sculpt and paint. This is a relatively tough one to call. Actually, I'd say it's the most difficult one of the figure fights thus far. On one hand, we have a relatively new sculptor for NECA taking his first crack at Godzilla, while we have Monster Master Yuji Sakai for the SH MonsterArts. Both of them did a fantastic job. The SHMA has a nearly perfect sculpt, while the NECA is super great, and with a little tweaking here and there, well, it'll be pretty close to the SHMA. So effectively, they're fine there. However, when it comes to paint, the fight starts to go more towards one side. Tamashii Nations opted to paint the SH MonsterArts as depicted in his final fight with Kong. So they skimped out on paint apps on things like toes and claws and general body paint because he's supposed to be, well, dirty and you'd hide up those details. Yeah, it's really difficult to say the paint is good, but you actually can. What paint apps are there well, they're amazing, so it wins points for that. Except the eyes. Some of them were terrible at release, and after seeing multiple others in person at G-Fest aside from my own, I can confirm it's not a trick of the light. Meanwhile, the NECA's is fully painted, and a reissue of the figure has a more so matte paint application throughout the body than slightly glossy as you see here, so that is a subjective plus. While the figure is painted fully, it's not exactly the same level as the SHMA in terms of quality. However, all parts are actually painted. We have an amazing sculpt with really awesome paint applications versus, well, pretty dang good sculpt with fully painted applications, and it's all really good. Tough call, but the NECA wins.
Round 2.
Articulation. NECA has a good offering here with a nicely movable Godzilla, which features all of the essentials with a hinged jaw, some ball joints in the neck with good range. Arms are a little stiff at first, but once you move them around and loosen them up a bit, he can do the whole hand clapping thing that the 62 is known for. The hips and knees, like their other Godzillas, are pretty much useless, and this is the first Godzilla which has a fully jointed tail and line. There's no bendy wire. Overall, it's good, but the SHMA has basically all that and more. Nearly the only thing this one can't do that the NECA can is move the arms and hands fluidly to reproduce the clapping thing. On that figure, they can actually touch. Here, you're going to have to stretch it a little bit. And yeah, throughout this demonstration, one joint popped off in the tail, but easy to pop back on, basically a non-issue. The SH MonsterArts not only has more joints, but they're a bit more effective and a better range of movement. The SH MonsterArts wins here.
Round 3.
Accessories. This is some big brain stuff. I know some of you won't get it, so let me break this down in a nice and easy-ish way for you. The SH MonsterArts does come with a beam effect and a support stand. This allows you to point Godzilla's head in nearly any direction and have Godzilla firing the beam. Of course, it's only within the range of the stand, but the arm of that stand is compatible with other things, like buildings that Tamashii Nations has released. Yes, the beam is reused from the 64 Emergence version, but so is the NECA's, even though technically this was the first one to have that beam effect released, and others will be using it, but that doesn't count. Not exactly accurate either for the NECA, but that's not a super huge issue. The NECA's beam does look a little bit nicer than the SHMA's, but the issue with the NECA's is that even though it's a bit more convenient to just insert it into the mouth, that's an issue, because the beam is kind of heavy here, relatively speaking. So Godzilla here can only fire the beam downward. You can't have him look up and shoot the beam up into the air if you wanted to, and since it's heavy, it does put weight on the joints in the head region, and it causes them to droop down, causing stress, potentially loosening this joint, or others, up over time. Not ideal, despite the fact that some may see this beam to be a bit easier to use. Usability and the fact that it doesn't really weigh down joints, the SH MonsterArts gets another point.
Round 4.
Price. MSRP is in play here, and we have a winner basically right out the gate. The SH MonsterArts comes in swinging at $100. Basically, you may find a retailer and drop the price a little bit. The NECA, at most, should cost $25 at release. But we're looking at not what is most expensive to get this point. Nope. We're looking for whichever is more so wallet friendly. The NECA wins.
Round 5.
Scale. Here's where the final punches are thrown. The NECA is bigger, but is it better? Yes. When you plop either figure down in a Showa display, except for maybe the bootleg King Ghidorah, both are a bit too large with their kaiju action figure brethren, or just about right. Specifically, take a look at Gigan versus Anguirus here. However, with nearly everything else, the NECA scales better. So here we have a situation where the Showa action figures that have been released, though the SH MonsterArts may be closer to scale, both are a bit too big. So that kind of neutralizes each other in terms of who would win that round. And with nearly everything else, including most Kong action figures, the NECA scales better with nearly everything by being about a head taller. One neutral and one positive, the NECA wins.
Final bell.
That's it. The fight is over and the title has been won. The NECA wins 3 rounds with better looks, more affordability, and an overall better price. Yes, Bandai's effort does win in the articulation and accessories department, but it's not enough to put the NECA down for the count. Now remember, this is a Tale of the Tape series, and if you think you prefer one over the other, well, everybody should get that. I like the SH MonsterArts more, but on paper here, well, you know who wins. Well, what do you think? Any missed calls or low blows thrown the ref might have missed? Comment down below, and don't forget to vote in the fan poll in the description to help shape the community's opinion of which one might be better. Also, thanks so much to everyone who's watching, and if you have had fun, please let me know. Big thanks to my patrons for this month so far to make the channel and videos like these possible. It means the world. Now that the video's over, here's the end card so you can follow me on social media or check out other videos and links. Thanks so much again, and I'll catch ya in the next video.